If you wake up every morning and have a hard time deciding between boxers or briefs, well, that's why they invented the boxer brief. Likewise, if you wake up wondering if you should go out and shoot wide-angle landscapes or macro, well, that's why Laowa came out with this. This is the 15mm f4.5 wide-angle macro 1:2, and it's a strange little lens from a company that is known for making strange lenses, or lenses really that no other manufacturer will make. So is it a jack of both trades, or is it a master of none? Let's check it out. Construction is all metal and glass. It feels premium as a result, although it looks generic. Weight is 404 grams, and the size is compact for an ultra-wide. Albeit being f4.5, this makes sense. Starting at the rear, there is a metal mount, some electronics, and a clear weather sealing gasket. The crime of the year is putting a micro USB port on a lens in 2025. I don't understand this move at all, and to me, it doesn't appear to be weatherproof in any fashion. The body of this lens is very simple. There is one ring, that is the manual focus. It's smooth, well damped, rotation is only about 45 degrees, and there is a focal distance scale etched in white and red here. Towards the front, there is that signature blue ring that makes a Laowa, and then around the front, a compact front element, a bunch of lens specs, 62mm front filter thread, and Laowa logo. Inside, there are 16 elements in 11 groups and a 5-bladed diaphragm. Now, as you can see, there is no aperture control. That is because it is handled in camera with this lens. So you get EXIF data and aperture control even though this is a manual focus lens. I took this thing out with my A7C and I shot a few things here and there with it, and now I'll talk about my thoughts while you guys are viewing this slideshow. Sharpness in the center of the frame, wide open, is good. The corners are not quite as good. This is a lens that looks best really at f8 and beyond, especially for macro work where you really need to stop it down anyway to get any semblance of usable depth of field. Now, unlike the previous Laowa 15mm f4 shift lens, this one only gets you to 1:2 magnification, which means something that is 1 inch in real life will show up as half an inch on the sensor. For most people, the 1:2 will work just fine, and it is significantly easier to manual focus compared to a 1:1 macro lens. You just won't be able to get super detailed up close shots, but again, being a 15mm ultra wide, it's more of a lens that can get you close but also show you a lot of the surroundings anyway. Wide open, there is a lot of vignetting, which improves as you stop down, but the corners are never fully sharp and bright in my testing. They are best at f8 and beyond, but still nowhere near what a dedicated ultra wide lens would get you. One of the biggest problems with using this lens practically is lighting. To get that 1:2 magnification, you really have to get close to your subject, and because it is a ultra wide angle lens, the lens hood or just the lens itself often blocks out your light. Now, the colors and the contrast levels are good. Again, nothing exemplary, but they are sufficient. Bokeh is also just okay. At times it looks busy and with some outlining here and there depending on the situation. Stop down, the bokeh turns into pentagons, which is a unique look that might not be for everyone. Now, the benefit of this 5-blade diaphragm is that you do get 10-point sun stars, so that's the trade-off. Flare control is an issue. Even with the lens hood attached, there is a lot of ghosting with the sun in your shot, and as a wide angle, you often might have the sun in your shot. The bottom corners are the most affected by this, and you can get some washed out colors. In terms of chromatic aberration, there is little to complain about at f4.5. There's a tiny bit of it here and there, but the bigger issue is the out of focus areas, or the low-cut color fringing. That is more prevalent in a number of shots. This also affects the bokeh as well, as you get some outlining on bokeh highlights. Focus breathing, this lens has a lot of that, so it's not ideal for video work in my mind. Now, on Sony cameras, the nice thing about focusing is that if you have the zoom into focus enabled on your camera will crop in so you can nail focus. You don't have to program a custom button to punch in like you do with any other straight manual lens. And controlling the aperture through the camera works well. I experienced absolutely no issues. So optically, there are a lot of compromises. This is a lens that straddles the fence of neither here nor there. It is lukewarm. It's not entirely great at being an ultra wide lens, and it's not quite at the level of a dedicated macro lens either, so you get this lens that is compromised for both tasks. However, there's not a whole lot out there that is an ultra wide macro. If you want that super unique perspective where you can see something up close and also see a lot of the surroundings, I don't see Sony or any other lens manufacturer for that matter making these lenses, and it's priced competitively. This is $399 US, which makes it cheaper than the 15mm f4 tilt by $100, and you get electronics and arguably better optics. And $400 for a full frame lens these days is not much, at least comparatively speaking. Now, let me know what you guys think down in the comments section below. What would you use this lens for? Is this lens needed? I'm curious what your guys' thoughts are. Thank you so much for watching. Stay tuned for more. Have a nice day. Bye-bye.